Gideon asked the question that I believe every Christian and every church needs to ask. Gideon lived during the times of the judges, when Israel was constantly being overrun by other nations, and the Midianites were probably the worst. The people were starving, and they cried out to God. The angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon. Now we don't know exactly what Gideon saw, but the angel sat under a tree, and later Gideon made him a lunch. Verse 12, Judges 6, verse 12. The angel of the Lord appeared to him and said to him, "The Lord is with you, O valiant warrior." Then Gideon said to him, "O my Lord, if the Lord is with us, why then has all this happened to us? And where are all his miracles, which our fathers told us about, saying, Did not the Lord bring us up from Egypt? But now the Lord has abandoned us and given us into the hand of Midian." The Lord looked at him and said, "Go in this your strength, and deliver Israel from the hand of Midian. Have I not sent you?" Gideon, said to him, "O Lord, how shall I deliver Israel? Behold, my family is the least in Manasseh, and I am the youngest in my father's house." But the Lord said to him, "I will be with you, and you shall defeat Midian as one man." So Gideon has questions, but I only want to look at one here. If the Lord is with us, then where are all his miracles that we have been hearing about all our lives? Every Jew his whole life would have heard stories of God's great deliverance from Egypt. But that was a long time ago. So the question is, should we expect God to do miracles in every generation? A lot of Christians don't think looking for miracles is a good idea, because they think that people are just looking for the spectacular, that they need a boost in their faith, and that it is better to have faith without the boost of miracles. That it is even testing God. Yet here, the one person in the Bible who asks where all God's miracles are, God sends him on a mission to do that very thing. Go and deliver your people, and I will be with you. And God is with us too. We just don't know what the job is. In Matthew 12, Jesus was criticized for healing a man on the Sabbath. And Matthew 12, verse 11, and Jesus said to them, "What man is there among you who has a sheep? And if it falls into a pit on the Sabbath, will he not take hold of it and lift it out? How much more valuable, then, is a man than a sheep?" To Jesus, healing that man was just like pulling him out of a ditch. It wasn't meant to prove anything. Maybe we should stop talking about miracles, but just think of helping people or fixing things that are broken in the world. Maybe we should start thinking of bigger problems. Bible teachers often say that there were 4 great periods of God's miracles in the Bible: Moses and Joshua, then Elijah and Elisha, Jesus, then the apostles. They speak as though it is God's idea if and when he will do miracles. Notice here a few things about those times. Moses mentored Joshua. Joshua mentored nobody, and the miracles stopped. Elijah mentored Elisha, and Elisha mentored nobody, and the miracles stopped. Jesus mentored the apostles, and we have no biblical record of the apostles mentoring anybody. Though Paul did mentor Barnabas and Silas, we don't know anything about what happened after them. Notice too, when Goliath confronted the army of Israel, everybody was too afraid to face him. But after David killed Goliath, it seems that anybody could kill a giant. 2 Samuel 21 talks about this. Abishai did. Then Sibbecai the Hushathite did. And Elhanan. And even Jonathan, David's nephew. They just had to see somebody do it first. It wasn't a matter of God now being willing, but people taking faith-based risks. It wasn't a question of God wanting to do a miracle, but it was somebody who believed that God would do what needed to be done. The book of James refers to the first miracle in the record of Elijah's ministry, and he says that Elijah was just like us. James 5:16, "Therefore confess your sins to one another and pray for one another so that you may be healed. A righteous man's praying has great effect when he prays." Elijah was a man with a nature like ours, and he prayed earnestly that it would not rain. And it did not rain in the earth for 3 years and 6 months. Then he prayed again, and the sky poured rain. It wasn't that God wanted to do a bunch of miracles at this point in time, but Elijah took the first step. Some will say that we have the Bible. We don't need miracles. Depends on why you want them in the first place. Now, if Israel had the Bible then, they still would have needed a miracle to deliver them. Miracles aren't meant to convince anybody of anything, with exceptions, but miracles are just God responding to impossible situations, situations of great need, or just delivering his people. If my life is just about my life, then we don't need to do any of this. We're going to all just live our lives and be content. But you don't need to look far to see a world totally in disarray. Our own lives may be stable and peaceful. I don't know how many people have asked God this question, but the one person in the Bible who did, God sent him on a mission. It's like all the dots are there, but he leaves it to us to connect them. So yes, God sent him. The question is, how many others would he send if they had but asked the right question and listened and believed for the answer?